A rally was held at Lowe Square in Renfrew for workers with developmental disabilities who have lost employment since the introduction of Bill 148. In the past, there was a chance for services to offer training workshops that would allow people with developmental disabilities to work at lower than minimum wage. Families in Renfrew are fighting to create an amendment for these workers as they are now without any jobs, and since many of them would have a hard time in the workforce, they may be viewed as unemployable. Parents are fighting for their kids' rights to feel a part of the community.
What we are saying is we're fighting for the ones that don't fit, as Lisa said, into the box. My son, for example, too, he's 37, he doesn't read or write. He takes seizures. He is working at about a grade 1-2 level. He loves what he was doing up there. He loves being able to do little jobs for people and get a little bit of money. You know, and it's not about the money. It's about they like to be able to actually say they have a job. So people have said, well, you know, why can't they volunteer or do things like that? That's not a job to them. A job is like you or I or what you're doing right now. That's what they see a job as, and that's what they want to do.
I'd actually like a new box for my son to fit into. He doesn't fit into the $14 an hour box. December 31st of 2017, he fit in the box. January 1st of 2018, he doesn't fit in the box anymore. Can I not have a new box that my kid can fit into and be happy and productive?
In speaking with Chris Grayson, Executive Director of Community Living Upper Ottawa Valley, it has been brought to our attention that sheltered workshops were pushed to be removed as was mandated back in 2015, and it had nothing to do with Bill 148.
This effort to close sheltered workshops really was initiated almost 22 years ago, and it never made the directive level, and it has now, and we as organizations, many of us in Ontario, closed them in the late 90s. So it's a long overdue. People are citizens, and they can be supported to be citizens. They can be supported to be employees and to be active contributing members of whatever communities they're in.
Keenan Weller of Live, Work and Play Ottawa says the solution shouldn't be to amend the bill. It would take away the rights of the group of people. Rather, they should look to ways to help them be included in the community under the new legislation.
So it's been many years for families and advocates and organizations making sure that people with intellectual disabilities are included in human rights legislation like labor law, like the Employment Standards Act. And so this has been actually a long time coming, and there was initially a lot of celebration that, finally we're a real person and now we have real labor laws protecting us. And so this response to a situation where some people have been working some jobs at less than minimum wage, and in order to deal with that, the answer is to help them find real jobs with real wages. And it's just very disappointing to see people rallying around the idea of keeping them out of the Employment Standards Act so they can continue receiving less than other workers.
Both sides are looking at the best way to get these individuals back into the workforce. For equal isn't always fair. They are for inclusion of all people with developmental disabilities, but would like some options for those who may struggle in the workforce and find them suitable tasks to give them a sense of pride and accomplishment. For Community Living and other groups, they are advocates for human rights strides that have been made and would prefer that these individuals have the same rights as everyone else under the new labor laws in Ontario and to work with employers to find suitable positions at minimum wage.
Yeah, I'm very opposed to the suggestions to revert back to allowing people with disabilities to be paid less than the Ontario labor law of minimum wage.
It's amazing. This community is wonderful. Just let them give us a new box for our kids to fit into. That's all we're asking.